This is after the flag, after Silverstone produced a simply sensational British Grand Prix. We've had 3 incredible races here at Silverstone on a beautiful sunny afternoon here in the UK. We're going to try and break down the MotoGP race for you after a fantastic 12th round of the World Championship, which was won by Pecco Bagnaia, a 4th victory in 7 races for the Italian, which has moved him well and truly into World Championship contention here today. First of all, Simon Crafar, of course, joins me as always for After the Flag. What a fantastic Grand Prix that was. This circuit tends to lend itself to great racing. It's such a fast-flowing layout. It delivered today.
I totally agree with that. I was planning to put it in somewhere in the show as you can see why I love it. You know, I think it's arguably the best, you know, it's definitely in the best few circuit layout for fantastic motorcycle racing. And then you speak to the riders, they all love it, so super cool.
Yeah, we saw a fantastic Grand Prix. We'll of course talk you through the winners and losers and the could be or would be winners in this Grand Prix. There are many riders who will go away from this British Grand Prix thinking that maybe should have been my trophy today. In the end, it went to Pecco Bagnaia, who's had a mixed couple of months for reasons both on track and off. We'll stick to the on-track issues though regarding Pecco Bagnaia. He's either been win it or bin it in the last few races. He needs to try and find that consistency if he's going to win the World Championship. But I don't think this is a race that we expected to go Bagnaia's way. He described it to you as perhaps the best win of his career. He said yesterday he didn't have the pace to win the Grand Prix. So what do you think changed?
Well, that's why I was so surprised. I didn't put him down for the podium. He'd said himself that he was 0.2 off that per lap, you know, of the pace of the fastest guys. He sounded a little bit lost all through the debriefs. You know, we listen to Friday, Saturday evenings to everything they say. And so I didn't put him down. Then I saw them playing with bike geometry, changing the headstock where it is, you know, like where the front steering goes through. That's rare for Pecco. They don't normally, he hates changing his bike. He finds a good base and leaves it. And then they pulled that out of the bag on Sunday. No wonder he's so pleased with the win.
Yeah, he's very, very pleased with that victory. As I say, he described it as the best win of his MotoGP career, and it puts him well and truly now in World Championship contention, with Fabio Quartararo finishing way down the field in 7th position, as we'll talk about later on. He's lost an awful lot of points to Pecco Bagnaia. Let's hear now from the eventual race winner. Here's Pecco Bagnaia.
Pecco, huge congratulations, back-to-back MotoGP victories. I think it's fair to say you've been under the radar this weekend. Not many people expected you to be victorious today. When you were sat on the grid, did you think this was possible?
Me too. I wasn't thinking about a win today. I already accepted yesterday that today was difficult to win, so I was accepting a top 5. But this morning we found a good step in front with using the rear arc. And then for the race we decided to use the medium front. I wasn't happy about that choice, but it was the only way possible to do the race, because with the soft I was more in trouble with the grip in the braking. So in the last part of the race, this medium front have helped me a lot, because the rear grip was totally finished, so I was just using the front tire. And nothing. I just would like to say thanks to all the people around me in the box, of my team, of Ducati, and at home, because I was struggling a lot this weekend, and with all their support, I did a step in front. So I would like to put this win like my best one, like one of my best one, because in a race weekend like this that I was in trouble, win is always important. So I'm very happy about that.
You mentioned how important the tyre choice was. Last year, Valentino would always say that on a Saturday night he'd try and convince you to go with the right choice.
Happened the same.
The same again?
Yeah. Because he is never happy about my choice of the tire. So also in Assen he said to me, I won with the wrong tire. So today he was saying to me yesterday, trying to use to use the medium and hard, and today I used the medium and hard, and he was right. So I'm happy that he have helped me a lot this weekend.
Just let us know how your emotions compare up to 4-5 weeks ago following the German Grand Prix, in terms of how you view the championship, how you were feeling personally? I'm sure it's a big change in just 2 rounds.
Yeah, for sure, a big change. I just try to be more to understand what was wrong with me the first part of the season, and I try to work this after this summer break. I don't want to say that I improved myself on that, but I think we are in a good way. We are in the good way. So for sure, today is one of the best days compared Saxony, that I was very angry.
What did you think was wrong? What did you have to work on?
I think in terms of concentration sometimes, because I was thinking to be more calm and I was crashing, so I was not on a good mindset, I think. So also today I was pushing like hell to don't crash and to try to win and try to do a good result, and don't make mistakes today was very important, and I'm very happy that happened this to win the race.
49 points now, the difference in the championship. Coming up, we head to the Red Bull Ring. Ducati, of course, so good there. San Marino, a place you love. Aragon, another place you love. This championship is well and truly on.
For sure, this one was the more critical for us, because I was struggling always, and win here is very important. But like we improve a lot in the track where I was struggling last year, doesn't mean that maybe the favorite track for us we are competitive. So let's wait to arrive there, and let's see which one will be our opponent, and try to be the best way, try to finish the weekend the best way possible. I would like to think race by race and no more.
Pecco, congratulations, a brilliant performance
today. Thank you very much.
Jack Appleyard asking the questions there. It's almost as if Valentino Rossi knows a thing or two about motorcycle racing, the 9 times world champion, providing some crucial advice for Pecco Bagnaia on the eve of race day. Picking up on an important point that Jack brought up there in the final question to Bagnaia. Of course, after the crash at the Sachsenring, he was 91 points behind Fabio Quartararo. He's essentially, near enough, cut that gap in half in 2 races, and with races coming up that have either suited Ducati historically or suited Pecco, as we saw last year, he surely has to think that this is on.
Yeah, well, he will be, and so will the team. Coming into this one, I think I said to you on the show that there's 2 riders that stand out to me that need a really good second half of the season, and that's Joan Mir and Pecco. They will both be disappointed with the first half. Yes, Pecco had some awesome wins, but he had too many mistakes, and he'll want to turn that around, and what a turnaround. I thought it wasn't going to right up until race day, and he turned it around, so he's got to be super happy.
Well and truly happy with that. He said also earlier on that he had to suffer today to win that Grand Prix. One of the riders, more than most, who were making him suffer in the closing stages was Maverick Viales, who finished in 2nd place. Building on that first Aprilia podium last time out at Assen, he's gone 3rd, now 2nd. Of course, his first front row start as well with Aprilia this weekend. Is it going to be slightly bittersweet for Maverick Viales? Of course, he's going to be delighted with 2nd place, but is there going to be a slight feeling in the back of his mind of this was the one that got away?
It always feels like that, and it will for him, because he had the best pace. You know, he was well on for the win. In those closing laps, no one was going his pace. He seemed to pass almost at will, and I've got to say I was impressed how he was doing it, meaning it's super easy to crash at the last part of the race because you've worn your tyres, and he was doing overtakes without losing the front, and I was like, wow, he's really hungry and making the right decisions mostly. And I'm super happy, because coming into this one, I said more than once that he has the ability, he has the machine. Does he have the hunger? And I'm not trying to be mean, I really genuinely thought that was the only question mark, and today he made me eat those words, and I'm super happy for him, because he's proven that he's definitely got the hunger. I think if he'd managed it slightly different, he would have won the race, and I think he'll be thinking that. One last thing is, it doesn't matter. He's shown he's a little out of practice of fighting for that win, but he's shown he's still got everything to do it. It's great. great news for the championship too.
Great news for the championship, great news for Aprilia and for Maverick Viales. Second place for him, narrowly missing out on that first Aprilia victory. After finishing second, he spoke to Jack.
Maverick, huge congratulations. Your best result with Aprilia, but I'm interested to know what your emotions are like right now. Are you pleased with the result or frustrated that it wasn't victory today?
I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased because 2 podiums in a row with the bike is very important for us. We worked well through all the weekend. We need to learn from this weekend. I learned a lot in the race, where we have to improve and what we need to improve. So basically, I'm so happy and I can't wait to be back, work and try to do the next step.
Looking at those final 2 laps, what would you have done differently now to try and stay ahead of Pecco?
I try everything. So I passed him, but he passed me back. And then in turn 1, I have a little moment going into the corner, so I lose all the space. And then I just close the door for Jack. I just closing all the time the door. But overall, we must be happy. We must be happy because it's not easy. This is MotoGP, and we are achieving really good results, 2 podiums in a row. But I don't see that this is the roof. We need to continue improving, we need to continue working, and that's the way. That's the way, and every time I go on the bike I feel better. And there is tracks now where I feel very strong.
Just looking at you, big smile on the face, so much confidence. How different is the Maverick Viales now to 12 months ago?
Well, actually, I'm enjoying everything, I take it on a very different way because, it's a matter of work and, I feel really good inside the team. And Aprilia is a great factory and they deserve it, so I go for it.
Third in Assen, second at Silverstone. If you were to win at Austria, of all places, given what happened last year, how much would that mean?
Oof, I think it's a dream. It's a dream. If we accomplish the objective in Austria, it's going to be a really good dream because at the end, it's in Austria. I had things happen, but this is on the past. I'm really concentrating in the present. But I will have an extra motivation for sure.
Maverick, an incredible performance today. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, it would be quite the story, wouldn't it, based on what happened last year for Maverick Viales in Austria and the way that marriage with Yamaha met its divorce so spectacularly. If he were to continue that sequence 1 year on and go third, second, first and win his first Grand Prix for Aprilia in Austria, you wouldn't rule it out at this stage. He will certainly go there fancying his chances. And he's been saying to us from the start of the season that the progress is being made with Aprilia, the pace is there, I just need to work on the qualifying, the single lap pace. Now that he's getting the tangible rewards for that, to back up those words, it's just going to fill him with motivation for the races to come.
Yeah, and confidence, and I think Maverick runs on a lot of that. You can tell he's up right now, and I think that's bad news for the opposition. He's, like I said, he's got the machine, he's got the ability, and it looks like now he's proven my doubts are wrong, and he's got the hunger. So, I've got to, what's the word, for want of a better way to put it, take my hat off to Aprilia because they are looking after Maverick how he needs to, managing him well, and now they're getting the results, so good on them.
Speaking of a team that's managing their rider well, Ducati and Jack Miller have got on very well over the years. Jack Miller, of course, leaving Ducati at the end of the season, but he's been keen to point out again over the course of this weekend how much he appreciates the fact that Ducati is still putting 100% faith in him. They're trusting him to run new parts. They're not cutting him off from any development, and Jack Miller's rewarding them on track.
You don't see that everywhere, and I would say the majority of teams, when a rider says they're leaving, I'll be a bit more transparent and say usually in the Japanese manufacturers, when they say they're leaving or they've told them they're leaving, they don't get the same updates, because you're losing information that could be vital for next year, and you're giving it to the opposition. And it's so cool to see Jack be given the updates, and I think I've found it since he made those changes to his bike in Germany, he's a new level of like a complete package. He's no longer dropping off at the end of races. He's more confident on the braking area, and I genuinely believe, I've been saying it for a couple of races, that Jack will continue to be competitive.
He'll continue to be competitive and he'll continue to challenge right towards the end of the season. He has an important role to play for Ducati, both in the Constructors' Championship, but also assisting Pecco Bagnaia as he tries to chase down Fabio Quartararo in the Riders' Championship. Third place for Jack Miller today, his third podium of the season, and here he is with another Jack Appleyard.
Jack, congratulations back onto the box and here at Silverstone as well, where they take you in as one of your own. This must be one that feels a little bit special.
Yeah, you know, it's been an awesome weekend to be back here racing in front of the British fans, and no, I mean, awesome weather all weekend. Haven't seen a bit of rain since we've been here in the UK. It's been nothing but sunshine, so no, it's been a great turnout. I've enjoyed racing. I've enjoyed being back on the bike again after the summer break. A bit rusty at the beginning, but slowly worked through, and to start off like this with the podium is mega, and to do it here in front of the British fans is even cooler. You know, I was pushing there towards the end, but this is probably the best we could do today. But no, nonetheless, very happy.
One of the only man on the podium to go with that soft front. On reflection, do you feel it was the right choice?
Yeah, I mean, I started suffering there towards the end of the race. I definitely gave it a fair bit of, let's say, hurt at the beginning of the race, you know, trying to go with Fabio and Joan, and then when Fabio did his long lap, trying to go with Joan, so on and so forth. I mean, I was constantly at the front there pushing away, and then when Aleix came through, and then when Pecco came through, so I was constantly the man there trying to go with these boys that were all sort of set in different paces. And yeah, it could have maybe been a bit better on the K, but honestly the P was all we'd known so far this weekend, so I stuck with the safe bet. We were able to bring it home. It was really, really strong on the left-hand side. Speaking with the boys now, they said that they were suffering quite a bit on the left-hand side, so who's to say that the K wouldn't have been good for me, but we'll have to reflect on our data and understand, you know, about our choice and how it was, but nonetheless a really, really positive start to the second half of the season.
You're reeling in Maverick at the ends there as well. How tempted were you for a lunge on that last lap?
I mean, we all were sort of we were all starting to get pretty sloppy there towards the end, like some mistakes coming. I said to the boys, all three went wide at turn 6 or 7 at the end of the back straight. On the last lap, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh, well, if I was in there, I might have been right, but we're all stuck out here now. But no, I mean, I was sort of eyeing him up for the 12, sort of 13 move. But yeah, he went super protective on the way in there. I was like, I'm not going to even try and put my bike in there with the way that it feels at the moment. So I just tried to sort of square him up and see if I couldn't get a better drive. But no, he rode a fantastic race. He came through with some mega pace when he came past me, but then he sort of hit the brick wall right in front of me. So Pecco rode an amazing race. I take my hat off to him. He managed it out the front in a great way. So no, we'll move forwards to Austria and look forward to being back in Spielberg.
Well done today, Jack.
Cheers,
enjoy
mate.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we always love hearing Jack Miller describe his race, talking about how little grip he had on the final lap of that Grand Prix. There are a number of other Ducati riders who perhaps feel they could have won this Grand Prix, which we'll talk about in a moment. But before we get to them, the story of the race really coming into today was Fabio Quartararo, of course, with his long lap penalty, and Aleix Espargar carrying his injuries. In the end, they finished right together in 8th and 9th, and I think they'll both go away from this race with very contrasting emotions. Starting with Fabio Quartararo in 8th position, he thought he was going to challenge for the victory today, irrespective of the long lap penalty. But what do you think went wrong for him? We've seen him in the pack in the past, where the front tyre pressure and temperature has gone up once he's in the pack. And it has to be said, once he was in the pack after a long lap penalty, he only went backwards.
Yes. Coming into today, meaning last night, the TV guys always ask, what do you think will happen? And I said, Fabio will either win it, because he'll be able to get a gap, get through the long lap, stay in front, or he won't be on the podium. He'll be sort of mid-single figures, and the second guess came right, you know. I think it's purely because Fabio can't pass on the straight. He's got to give that front tyre a hard time and keep passing, you know, and keep making aggressive moves. And you've got to remember that Fabio and his team would have told him, and Fabio had a DNF at the last one. You could see he really tried in the beginning. He tried to get that gap. It didn't work. And then he had to decide to stay away from the possibility of another DNF and basically bring it home, you know, because he did everything he could in the beginning. I just think he realised it's not going to work. Don't risk it. Bring it home. I think that's what happened.
And he brought it home for 8 World Championship points. He had to battle with Aleix Espargar in the very closing stages of that Grand Prix. We'll hear from Aleix in a moment, but from your point of view, what he did today, if you rewind 24 hours when he was flying through the air at Farm Curve, I don't think he would have imagined in his wildest dreams that he would only lose 1 point to Fabio Quartararo.
I've got some really strong feelings about Aleix's possibilities today. I think yesterday his mistake, yes, it was caused by the hard rear, but it was his mistake in the end because other people were using the hard to good effect, you know. The thing is, I came into this weekend thinking on paper Aleix was my favourite to win, you know, because of Fabio's long lap and how strong Aleix was last year, and he's improved and so is the Aprilia, and I still feel like that now. I believe if Aleix hadn't had that crash yesterday and he'd done what I think was possible today, he'd have won. We'd only be fighting about second. I genuinely believe that. I know the Pecco fans will go, Simon, what are you talking about? You know, it didn't happen. And they're right, but it won't change how I feel. I really believe Aleix missed a big opportunity today with his mistake yesterday. But man, did he save some points. You know, it could have been a way bigger disaster. Could have been an injury, not riding today. And for the championship for us, it's all closed up. It's fantastic, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah, we still have a genuine three-way championship fight, it appears, going into the closing stage of the season between 3 riders from 3 different manufacturers. Well, let's get the post-race reaction of Aleix Espargar. He really had to ride through the pain barrier today, and he was rewarded with 9th place. Here he is.
Aleix, 24 hours ago when you were lying on the tarmac, would you have taken 9th place today?
When I was on the tarmac lying, yes, because I felt a lot of pain on my feet, a lot of energy. I thought I destroyed both ankles, and you know. But after the qualifying, after the adrenaline, I couldn't not even walk. But I have to say, it's fair to say that I improved quite a lot during the night. Dr. Charter did a really good job, and today it was not an excuse for 9th place. That the pain. Obviously, I was not riding comfortable. I couldn't move really free on the bike, and I lose a lot of time in the corner where I crashed yesterday. But overall, I'm satisfied because I didn't lose any points in terms of championship fight, so it's okay.
Do you feel, even with the injury, that you could have been further up today?
Yes, I didn't really feel competitive during the race, and it's a shame because I show good speed during all the weekend, and I don't know, I didn't have traction on the right corners. It's true that I also was not able really to lean my body on the right, so I didn't have really the bike to turn. But overall, we lost a good opportunity because I was competitive all weekend, and it was good to recover points to Fabio. But this is racing.
How do you look at the championship picture now? I'm sure on one side pleased that you only lost 1 point to Fabio, as you said, but potentially worried that now you've got Pecco to contend with as well.
But that's good. I mean, if Pecco is joining the party, this is more pressure for Fabio because he's the leader. I don't think Pecco is pushing to finish second in the championship. He's the same to finish second or third. What he wants is to win, and he's getting closer to his goal, and this means more pressure for the leader. So I like it. As more difficult is for everybody, more fun is going to be the party, and I'll be there to fight with them.
What are the next 2 weeks going to look like for you heading to the Red Bull Ring?
So for sure, this next week I have to rest. I'm really sore all the body. I have a lot of pain in the ankles, also on my back, my neck, everything. So hopefully 2-3 days of full rest, and then next week before Austria, I will be able to start to train a little bit. But now I really need to relax because yesterday impact was quite huge.
Well done today, Aleix.
Thank you.
Great performance.
Aleix Espargar speaking to Jack Appleyard there. We wish him well in his recovery as he looks to return in Austria, hopefully something close to full fitness. We're running out of time, but quickly, the 1 or 2 riders that we just should quickly mention before we go, and the one we need to discuss is Enea Bastianini, back on form here, finished in 4th position in the end, which is a good result in its own right, considering where he was early in the race. But when you consider that he lost some winglets at the start of that Grand Prix, so clearly not a Ducati at its best performance, what an incredible ride that was. And you kind of feel if this race had been 2 or 3 laps longer, who knows where he could have finished.
I think he had a great rescue. You know, that was a bit of a rough start to it, and losing that wing We had a good debrief to listen to when Luca Marini had that happen. He said it was very unstable, the bike, but it didn't seem to affect him. But let's wait to hear what he says, because if it did affect him, like you said, what a ride. Like, the thing is, he's fighting for that factory seat. I think that's the biggest goal he's got to achieve this year, and he hunted down the man he's fighting for, that seat for, Jorge Martin, and passed him at the end of the race. So he's got to go away pretty happy with the job he did, and he struggled as well early on this weekend, so a good turnaround for him.
Good turnaround for Nea Bastianini. He'd taken 3 wins this season, but no other finishes inside the top 6, so he's changed that statistic here today. But a truly memorable British Grand Prix as we now look forward to Austria in a couple of weeks' time.
Can I mention one more that stood out to me? Was Miguel Oliveira's ride. Got to say that was very good. Well ahead all of Honda's and quite a way ahead of all the other KTMs, so it was quite a special ride. I've got to mention the rookies as well. I kept an eye out there. Obviously, Bezzecchi did the best job, but I was very impressed early on with Remy Gardner and Darren Binder putting a proper good fight up early on. Looked like tyre drop, got them in the end, but top job.
Top job, and we now look forward to the Austrian Grand Prix at the slightly reprofiled Red Bull Ring. Of course, turn 2 has changed. We look forward to seeing how that affects the running order in a couple of weeks' time. But we're certainly not going to forget the 2022 British Grand Prix, a race that started that it could have been the long-awaited first victory for Johann Zarco. It then looked as if Alex Rins potentially was going to run away and take the Grand Prix victory, and ended up being a battle between Maverick Viales and Pecco Bagnaia, which went the way of the Ducati star. As we look ahead to Austria very quickly before we go, slight changes to the circuit, of course. We now have the chicane instead of a flat-out kink of turn 2. Is that likely to change the expected pecking order at all? It's been Ducati in the past.
I've looked at it 2 ways. I'm not sure how fast that chicane is. I obviously haven't ridden it and haven't even seen bikes go through it. I'm not sure if they keep it flowing. If it's a fast corner, like even good enough to use seconds, it could be like a Monza or a Hockenheim chicane, which will be awesome. I don't think it'll break up the flow. If it's a tight chicane, it's going to make it hard and not enjoyable, but also all it means is another hard acceleration, which will only mean another advantage to the fastest machines, So yeah, I'm really curious to see what happens. I'm going to feel bad, I know I'm breaking your flow here, if we don't mention Alex Rins, just quickly. He did an amazing ride, like as good as anyone today, until it looked like he had a big tyre drop, which is not like him. He's very good at managing the tyres.
He changed late onto the hard rear as well.
Yes, so I think there's something going on there where he should have been fighting for the podium. And also Zarco, I'm going to feel bad if I don't mention him. Sorry to break your flow again. But Johann Zarco had the pace all weekend. It was his big opportunity. And I feel really sorry for him. He changed to the medium. And just to explain, Jack ran the soft, he ran the medium. And the difference is, the Michelin guys and riders say that the medium is better under brakes. Obviously a little bit better consistency, when in this hot weather, but it has less grip on the side. And Jack just said that all the guys that ran the P, so the medium front, they all struggled a bit, or basically ran the K, the medium front, they all struggled a bit on the left, and Johann Zarco lost the front on the left, and it was a last minute change. So I think that's what caught Johann. He's used to the side grip of the soft and got caught out by the medium.
Yeah, not to be for Johann Zarco today. Alex Rins also missing out. He had a face like thunder at the end of the Grand Prix, but the victory in the end, in a belter in Britain, went to Bagnaia. We look forward to the next chapter in this 2022 MotoGP title fight, which now appears to be a 3-way fight between 3 riders from 3 different manufacturers. How good do you want it? We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time at the Red Bull Ring, but from myself and Simon Crafar, we look forward to your company in Spielberg. Thanks for joining us.
There we go then. Great start from pole position by Johann Zarco. Jack Miller got away well from 3rd place as well, but Zarco tails into Copse corner. He leads, and it's a French 1-2. Into the long lap penalty loop then. At the loop comes Fabio Quattro. He drops right back in front of Maverick Viales. Oh, Zarco's crashed out of the lead. Trail break working on the front end of that Prima Ducati into turn number 8. Here comes Pecco Bagnaia. It's been threatening, it has been coming, and he gets the move done on the brakes using the slipstream behind the factory Suzuki. Bagnaia now leads.
Good overtake now for Miller.
Miller's gone
He's
through.
the target through on Alex Rins. So a Ducati 1-2 at the front of this Grand Prix.
Here comes Maverick Viales. This has been his favourite overtaking point. He got Rins on the last lap here at the village corner. There's nothing that Miller can do. But it's Bagnaia, the best of British at Silverstone in 2022. He takes a famous win here in round 12 of this year's MotoGP World Championship. 4 wins now in the last 7 races, 3 DNFs to boot, and he's coming right back in the championship contention.